The ocean has never been just an expanse of water. It has always been a field of power. Beneath its waves, a silent game is played, one that decides the fate of nations sitting far away on land. And today, in that very ocean, a quiet rebellion has begun, one that is starting to shake the foundations of the global oil game that has existed for decades. For a long time, the world's economy has depended on a few extremely narrow sea routes, routes that if blocked even for a single day could bring the entire world to a halt. Among them, the most critical has been the Strait of Hormuz, through which a massive portion of the world's crude oil passes. Along with it, routes like the Bab el-Mandeb and the Suez Canal have become the heartbeat of global trade. But when power gets concentrated in one place, conflict becomes inevitable. And that is exactly what happened. Rising tensions in the Middle East, especially between Iran and the United States, have turned these sea routes into potential battle zones. Continuous threats and attacks in the Red Sea have forced the world's largest shipping companies to face a harsh reality. These routes are no longer reliable. Ship owners have realized that the shortest and cheapest route can also be the most dangerous one. And this is where the move began, the move that changed the entire game. While the world expected everyone to bow under Iran's pressure, the shipping industry quietly pulled out an old map, one that history had almost forgotten, but one that has now proven its importance again. That route is the Cape of Good Hope. And perhaps the most fascinating thing about this route is not just its name, but its purpose. It carries hope, not only in words, but in reality. Because where danger ends, that is where hope begins. This is the very route through which Vasco da Gama reached India centuries ago. And now, after hundreds of years, that same path is once again becoming the lifeline of the modern world. Today, the situation is such that massive oil tankers and container ships, which once passed directly through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea, are now traveling thousands of extra kilometers, going all the way around the southern tip of Africa. This route is longer, it is more expensive, but most importantly, it is safer. Here, no single country can dominate. There is no constant missile threat, there is no naval blockade. This is the open ocean, and that is its greatest strength. But this decision does not come without a cost. Ships are now taking 10 to 14 days longer to travel from Europe to Asia. That means more fuel, higher costs, and immense pressure on global supply chains. Ports in South Africa are now so congested that ships have to wait for long periods just to refuel. The impact is already visible in global markets. Transportation costs are rising, the risk of inflation is increasing, and the pace of trade is slowing down. And yet, despite all this, the world is not ready to go back. Because now this is no longer just about trade, it has become a matter of freedom. The Strait of Hormuz, which Iran once used as its strongest weapon, is now slowly being bypassed by the world. And this is exactly what is making strategists in Tehran increasingly uneasy. At the same time, the activities of Houthi rebels in Bab el-Mandeb have made the situation even worse. Attacks on ships, missile threats, and an atmosphere of fear. Together they have turned the Red Sea route into a dangerous trap. In such a situation, the world has made one thing clear. If a route is blocked, a new one will be created. And this is the real turning point of the entire game. Now the question is not just which route ships will take. The question is in which direction global trade will move in the future. Is this a temporary shift or the beginning of a permanent geopolitical transformation? Will the Cape of Good Hope remain just a backup route, or is it going to become the new normal in the years ahead? And most importantly, is this shift driven only by necessity, or is there a much larger strategic game being played behind the scenes, one whose script has already been written? Because when the world's most powerful nations change direction together, it is not just a route that changes, history itself changes. Changing a sea route is never just a decision, it is a move in the game of power that silently flips the entire board.
And what is happening right now is not just changing the direction of ships, it is rewriting the world's energy system. As ships were turning towards the Cape of Good Hope, at the same time, behind the scenes an even bigger plan was taking shape. This plan was about eliminating choke points without directly confronting them, because true victory is achieved when the enemy's weapon becomes useless on its own. And this is where an idea from Benjamin Netanyahu enters the picture, an idea that has completely shifted the conversation. His suggestion was simple: reduce dependence on risky sea routes and instead build a network of energy pipelines beneath the land, a system that could transport oil and gas from Gulf countries through Saudi Arabia directly to the Mediterranean Sea. If this plan becomes reality, the importance of the Strait of Hormuz could decline rapidly. What is today the lifeline of the world could tomorrow become just another option. At the same time, signals from Donald Trump point in a similar direction: not direct war, but strategic containment, weakening the opponent through supply chains, trade routes, and economic pressure. A method where no bullets are fired, but the impact is just as powerful. But the strongest character in this entire story, India, is playing its own game. India has not seen this crisis as just a threat, but as an opportunity. India understands that its energy needs depend heavily on imports, so it has moved quickly to secure its supply, purchasing discounted oil from Russia, making agreements with countries like the United States and Brazil. Together, these moves have placed India in a strong position. Today, India is no longer dependent on a single source, but is fulfilling its needs through multiple routes. Even at sea, India has demonstrated its strength. The way the Indian Navy is securing its ships in the Arabian Sea and nearby regions makes one thing clear: India does not just trade anymore, it protects its trade. Along with this, underground strategic petroleum reserves are emerging as one of India's greatest strengths. In any emergency situation, these reserves can sustain the country's energy needs for a long time. But the real transformation is happening at another level. The India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor is not just a project, it is a new global map. This corridor connects India with Gulf countries and Europe, where sea and rail networks come together to create a completely new trade route. When goods move directly from India to the Gulf and then reach Europe via rail, the importance of the Suez Canal and the Red Sea is bound to decrease. Which means this is no longer just about changing routes, it is about changing the entire system. In this evolving system, Iran's position appears weakening. The Strait of Hormuz, once its strongest weapon, may slowly lose its grip. Because when the world has options, no single country can dominate through pressure. But every strategy comes with risks. Will these pipeline and corridor plans actually become reality? Will the Arab nations fully agree to them? And the biggest question, will Iran quietly accept this transformation? Because if not, then this conflict may no longer remain economic. It could expand into military and strategic dimensions as well. The Middle East is already a region of instability, and any new project or alliance could further disturb the balance. A sudden spike in oil prices, disruption of supply chains, and economic pressure on smaller nations, these are all potential risks standing right in front of us. Today, the world stands at a crossroads, where one path is safe but expensive, another is fast but dangerous, and the third is an entirely new system that could define the future. So what do you think? Will the world truly break free from these choke points, or will this shift give rise to a new kind of instability? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.